then why do you drink alcohol until you black out? If you really want to be happy, why do you drink alcohol until you black out?
But you know what? That's quite a profound conversation, because I believe
Yeah. Yeah.
happiness can be bought,
Okay.
but joy can never be bought.
So you want to tell me that happiness depends on the happenings.
Exactly. Exactly. That's why.
But joy is a state of the heart.
Let's go back to Galatians. It is the
fruit of the Spirit.
It's not something you can craft. No. You can buy the nicest dress and be happy. You can buy happiness. But you can't
for a
buy
moment.
Joy. It's for a moment. It's temporal.
Yeah.
It's short term.
Yeah. When it's stained.
But joy. and that's why the Bible doesn't talk about happiness. It talks about joy.
Yeah.
Which is a manifestation of the Spirit. Or the fruit of the Spirit.
Or the inner state of someone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Paul speaks about peace. Mm-hmm. That surpasses all understanding. In other words, the carnal mind cannot understand.
Yeah.
Because it is spiritual.
Brother, when we are landing on this one, what do you want the listener to take with as we put a call? 1, 2, 3 points.
This is too deep.
Yes.
This is too deep. It's too deep.
Mm-hmm.
It's painful.
Mm-hmm.
Because the lives that we live, we are just floating, threading on thin rope. Somebody says we just live to die another day.
We just live to die another day.
We don't live at the fullness of what God has designed us to live on. It is for that reason that we don't enjoy peace. We don't enjoy joy.
We are not grateful.
We are not grateful.
Like every now and then something is missing.
Absolutely. You wake up the following day.
Yeah.
You feel that void again.
Yeah.
And I think
you had you wanted you wanted 100 million. You have it. You want 1 billion.
Absolutely. It just never never gets enough.
Yeah.
And I think the listener at home needs to know what is success.
What is success?
The listener at home needs to know, how do I define success?
How do I define success?
How do I pursue success? What is this thing about spirituality? How can I live spirituality?
How can I embed spirituality into my success pursuit?
Absolutely.
I think let's have a comma there.
As we find a soft landing to our conversation today, I think I do want to arc back just a little bit on the fact that we discussed that success is found in the pursuit of spirituality in the main. And this conversation has yielded some kind of understanding also that spirituality is not an artificial craft. It's something that exudes.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Paul speaks about fruits of the Spirit. Please help me out. I want
Mm-hmm.
to enjoy peace.
Mm-hmm.
I want
Joy,
to
to
experience
experience
joy.
joy.
I'm reading a book, by the way,
Uh.
by George Brown. It's titled The Fruit of the Spirit.
Uh-huh.
There's a beautiful piece where he says,
Uh.
the fruits of the Spirit, peace is no politician
Mm-hmm.
can legislate it.
No politician can legislate peace because
No.
it's not an external thing.
No financial institution can transact it.
Uh-huh.
And no engineer
Can
develop it.
develop it.
Here am I.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be successful.
Mm.
And for me to be successful, I need to pursue spirituality.
Spirituality. Yeah.
What would you say is a basic code,
Protocol.
procedure that one can, at the very least, start to follow in this journey of pursuit of spirituality?
Of success through spirituality.
That's, you've well crafted.
Yes.
Well articulated.
Well, brother, I think it has been a very good discussion along the way. And as we have been trying to recap, this subject is so deep and wide. And I don't want to claim that I know everything, or you don't want to claim you know everything. But we are giving from whatever we have.
Great.
I know for us it's also a learning
Great.
process, and actually most of these things they are helping us more, I think, more than any other person. Yeah. So maybe, as you said, to give a soft landing, maybe not to just to leave someone on there thinking, so what is it now? How can I achieve spirituality, or how can I achieve success through spirituality? Well, I have coined something which I call the FPSFD. Let me repeat it.
Is that an acronym, right?
Acronym.
Okay,
yes.
great.
The FPSFD, spiritual code to success. And the first F stands for faith. Faith. The P stands for prayer. And the S stands for sacrifice. And the second F stands for fasting. And the D stands for diligence.
Great.
That makes the acronym FPSFD.
Myself and the listener at home are not as fast as you are. Can I request that we recite them again?
Okay.
The first
F.
Yes.
Is faith.
Faith. Great.
Then we come to the P. P stands for prayer. And S stands for sacrifice. And the second F stands for fasting. And the D stands for diligence. And this one I call it the FPSFD, spiritual code to success.
Code. Wow.
You asked for a code.
Yes.
You know, we are in an era whereby everything is about coding, and
it's coded. Yes,
it's coded. Yeah.
So how you present yourself today depends on what frequency.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, starting with the faith. Faith actually is what I would call it like a very important thing, or a very important ingredient in this chord. That's why it starts first. In many occasions, the Bible records that without faith,
Yes.
you can't.
Yes.
Because of your faith. You see? So, faith comes and in most of, I would say it becomes a very basic and very important thing. And I'll say why. You know, faith, there are many definitions of faith.
Yeah.
I crafted mine. And I said, faith is that sense, or is that kind of a mindset of possibility and abundance. When you have this sense of possibility, a mindset of possibility, that everything that you ever needed is already there. And it's possible.
And it's possible.
Yes. Everything you need, or you wish for, or you want. Everything. What did Jesus say? What does the Bible say? It says everything is possible to him who believes. If you believe, everything is possible. At one point, Jesus was telling the disciples, if you have a little faith, just as a mustard seed, you'll speak to this mountain and it will move. It will move. So what is this thing that is being spoken? Faith, 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 faith. Faith is that kind of a mindset a person develops. In one of the scriptures says, faith cometh by hearing the word of God. So faith is not something which is you are born with. Faith is something you develop. It's kind of an energy you develop, and it's developed through understanding. So, speaking of faith, we are not speaking of fanatism here. We are speaking of faith because there are people who are fanatics. They are driven by emotions, and they're saying they're having faith. Faith comes from understanding. The base of faith is understanding. You don't understand, you can't have faith, because faith comes by hearing. Why now you need that? I mean, that now brings us to the point of being studious. You want to be successful in life, you can't avoid to be studious. You can't avoid to be a student every day. You can't afford to say you knew something, because whatever you knew yesterday is already obsolete. So for you to be able to be successful, you have to have faith. And for you to have faith, you have to be studious.
The world we live in today presents circumstances to which you doubt the future, to which you doubt tomorrow. As you are speaking about faith, I was asking myself, and I'm sure the listener is asking themselves at home, how do you say to yourself it's going to be okay when
everything is not okay?
All odds suggest it's not going to work.
Very interesting question. Actually, relevant one. Well, the opposite of faith is fear. Most people live in fear. And fear is a product of ignorance. Simple as that. Fear is a product of ignorance. Let me ask you, We are sitting here in this structure, right?
Correct.
It's a one-story structure.
Correct.
One-story building structure. Why are you comfortable?
Faith.
Where do you get that faith? Where do you get that faith? We are sitting on top of something. We are not on the ground here. We are on one story. We are at the first floor of this structure. Why are you comfortable like that?
Trusting the unknown, I guess.
No. You are aware. You understand. You are informed. You have been here before today.
Yeah.
Probably you have seen the structure from outside.
Yeah.
So you have confidence. Faith gives you confidence. Without faith, you don't have confidence. And without confidence, you can't achieve anything in this life. Nothing. In our code, we're saying the FPSFD, spiritual code, faith comes first. The second thing comes with is prayer. Prayer. Okay. Every person prays.
We believe so.
I'm telling you, everyone prays. Prays, like pray. But how do they pray? You know, people don't understand. Prayer is not going to church and starting doing a certain posture and saying certain words. Your daily conversations, your daily utterances, whatever you utter is a prayer.
In fact, I would have wanted to touch a little bit on that point.
Okay.
That how could one simply, in simple terms, define
Prayer. Okay.
Because then it answers the question and demystify the myth that prayer is when you kneel down at the altar and then you begin to make utterances, or whether in tongues or etc. You know, and I think people don't realize that, just like you've mentioned, the utterances that we make is prayer.
It's prayer.
Sometimes we pray for things without even knowing that we are praying for
Exactly, and when they happen, we are wondering why they happened. We are praying every day. We are praying every hour. When you tell your children, when you tell you tell your child that you are dumb, you tell that person with your mouth, and they fail in life or they fail in their academics, you start blaming the teachers. You start blaming the curriculum. You start blaming everyone.
In short, you are saying we should be careful.
Exactly.
Of our utterances.
Not only our utterances, we should be careful of what fills our hearts and what even our deep thoughts. Because it says it's from the abundance of the heart the mouth speaketh. Whatever you are speaking today, or whatever I'm speaking now, is an accumulation of a lot of things I have been depositing in myself. That's why I'm not reading here like I'm reading a book, or we are not reading here, but we are pulling from a million of whatever database, bringing and delivering it here, because we have taken time to fill ourselves. That's why I'm saying prayer is not what most people think. Prayer actually is. And I said everyone prays every day, and you ask them, no. I'm saying everyone prays. Now you can confirm to me that prayer is not somebody kneeling down, is not somebody doing a certain post or saying certain words. Actually, that is performance.
Wow.
That is performance. Real prayer is what comes from the conviction of your soul. What you speak, or what comes out from your conviction, that is your prayer. Stephen Covey, one of the great writers, he wrote a book, The 7 Habits of the Highly Effective People.
Yes.
You've
Yes.
read it.
I think I have.
Yes. He said, the person who says they can and the person who says they can't, they are both right. The person who says they can,
Yes.
and the person who says they can't,
can't.
they are both right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So prayer now brings, actually, it derives from faith. If you have faith, you will speak the words of faith. You will declare things which are unseen yet as they are today. You'll be like God. You'll create. Do you want light? When we read in the Bible, I joke with people. I say, when we read in the Bible, the first verse, which I think is saying, when God created the earth, when God created the world, the earth was without form and darkness filled the earth. And the Spirit of God was hovering
yes,
on the deep. And I tell people that when God awoke from his slumber and found it was dark, what did he say? It's dark. No, he said, let there be light. So when you see things are not working, stop affirming those things. Speak what you want to see. Don't promote the darkness. Don't promote your situation. Let the weak say, I am strong. And let the poor say, I am rich. That is prayer, brother.
I wish I would say amen to that.
No, you're not allowed. This is not a preaching. This is not a preaching. So prayer is a very important chord. And I'm saying we are not speaking of as a performance. We are speaking of a daily thing. What is the inclination of your thought? Are you fearful? Or are you filled with faith? Because what is fear? Fake evidence appearing real. That is fear. Fake evidence appearing real. F-E-A-R. Fake evidence appearing real. Whatever you are afraid of is just an illusion. Because somebody say, what if it doesn't work? Why don't you twist it the other side? What if it works? Because it has worked before. It has worked for someone else. So just believe. Just believe. And when you are filled with faith, your prayers will be of faith. You will speak the words of faith. The law of attraction says that we become what we are continuously thinking on, or dwelling on, or meditating on. Or we attract the things that we constantly think about.
So as the proverb that reads, as the man thinketh,
so he is. Speaking of poverty, for example, this is a very true thing if you pay attention. The people who are obsessed of thinking about money, they don't have money. The people who are obsessed of thinking about money, they don't have money. But the person who thinks about value, money comes to them like, They are not even thinking about money, but money just comes. Because when you constantly think of lack will be added unto you. Constantly thinking that I don't have money, and you tell people like, hey, mambo bagum sana. Hey, there's this saying, say, vyuma vimekaza. This is saying that ninapambana. There's this saying of like, mambo tight son. It's like you are affirming. You are praying for this situation. Brother, there is no there's no prize for there's no prize for let me say it in Swahili, hakuna tuzo ya unyonge. Unyonge in English is called weakness. There's no prize for weakness. You're not benefiting anyone by speaking or trying to tell them that you are broke, you are devastated, you are depressed. You are not helping anything. Actually,
I think it's Joyce Meyer who said nothing positive will come out of the negative.
Prayer. The third one is sacrifice. You have to say something before
you take me through. You take me through. And I'm trying to download using the code.
Yes.
Kwamba. When we pray, we make utterances.
Yes.
Of whatever kind.
Yes.
But they are pulling from a particular source.
Yes.
And I'm already thinking to myself, how do we feed?
Yes. Yes.
Source.
That's why I said faith is a product of understanding. Just as fear is a product of ignorance. Let me give you a very good example of fear. Have you seen these snake toys? Okay? If you didn't know that if we find something put on the road and you didn't know that this is a fake, this is a toy snake, what will be your reaction?
I will die. Until you wake me up and say, it's not a real one. And then I'm like, oh.
No, even if someone tells it's not a real one, because these fake snakes can also move and do those kind of things and like this. But if you knew before that thing there is a fake, would you even bother about it?
Negative.
You will not bother. As I said, fear is a product of ignorance. And faith is a product of understanding. You don't have faith if you're not studious. The word studious means immersing yourself in the search of knowledge and understanding. Not just scratching on social media and you go here and there and you think you know. Brother, you don't know. You don't know. People are very shallow. I listen to some of the people even talking in these social platforms. You listen to this guy and say, this guy is shallow. Because they are not studious. They don't take time to dive into things before they come out. So faith facilitates prayer. Effective prayer. Number 3, sacrifice. All religions, and this one I'll say with 100% confidence, they propagate giving. All religions.
You are saying to me the epitome of sacrifice is giving.
Is giving. You can't be spiritual without giving, without making sacrifices.
Are you trying to drive us back to John 3:16? For God so loved the world.
I don't know, but I don't know. But let me speak in a modern perspective. There's what is called philanthropy.
Yes.
You have heard it.
Yes.
And every rich person, every famous person, every person who has accomplished in this life, they are saying, I am a philanthropist. Why?
Philanthropist.
Yes, I'm a philanthropist. Why? Giving. Giving is a spiritual code. Is a spiritual code. And when when I speak about giving, or sacrifice, I don't necessarily means that you go and buy a bull and slaughter it, or buy a goat and slaughter it to make it a sacrifice, or go with money in church and give it and say you are giving, you are sacrificing. No, brother. I think Romans 12 verses 1, I think, presents a very good an ideal way of sacrificing. I urge you, brothers, to give yourself as a living sacrifice. Giving or sacrifice has to start with yourself. You know, you said yourself, you say that we're in a borrowed life. Why do people want to live selfishly, but why they know that this life is not theirs? You want to be, let's say, recognized. Recognize people first. You get that? As simple as that. You want to be respected. Respect people first.
Reciprocity.
It's sacrifice. It's giving. Give, and it shall be given back to you.
Are you telling me that we as a humanity, we go out there expecting to receive without giving?
That is madness, actually.
Because I go out, I just want to be respected.
Let's talk of a very good example in business. You start a business with the aim of making money. You know, that is a very wrong reason of starting a business. I don't know if you heard me.
I heard you twice.
If you are setting up a business to make money, you are in a wrong footing right from the beginning. You ask me then, what should you be? Your first and foremost thing is that what are you going to give? What are you going to give? What value are you going to create? A person says, I know. Yeah. They even ask here in Tanzania, say, biashara gani inalipa? Which business pays? It's not about which business pays. What value are you bringing? I'm telling you, there's no business which doesn't pay. There's no thing which doesn't pay. What value are you creating? What are you giving? Because if you give, you receive. Should I move to the other one?
In the interest of time, yes, please.
Well, the other one is fasting. You remember our code is
Yes.
FPSFD.
Yes.
We are in the second F.
Second F.
Fasting. And I think it's unusual to hear it from such kind of a conversation. We talk about fasting. And as we are here actually not to invent the wheel, but to a little bit shift the perspective of people when they think of things like fasting. In a common or in normal life, people when they hear fasting, they think of abstaining from food. That is a very, very small part of, very small part, or is a very small part of, or it's one very minute thing, a fraction
of what actual fasting
is. In essence, fasting is being able to deprive yourself
self-deprivation
from the delicacies. Let me repeat, from the delicacies which may distract you from pursuing your cause in life. And this is very important. It doesn't really matter which cause are you pursuing. We are talking about success here. We're saying it's a pursuit. As you pursue whatever you're pursuing, let me give an example. Let's say you are you want to be a successful software developer, or you want to be a successful politician.
Great.
That is a pursuit. That's a goal. Maybe you want to become the president. In that pursuit, there are many distractions, things which will try to take you off the
Away
focus.
from the pursuit plan or goal.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And it's very common. It's very common. That's where complacence happens. When people are distracted from the cause, they forget. They forget what they forget what they have purposed for, or they have aimed for. When you started your business, what purpose did you have? You wanted to help maybe children in need with special needs. And then after doing it for 3-5 years, you don't see the money coming, you want to leave it, you want to go for something else. Those are distractions. Yeah, so fasting is not about abstaining food. It's about about reminding yourself, like always having this kind of a part on your back, like, hey, are you on course? So that brings me to mention what could be different forms of fasting. For example, as I say, abstaining from food is one. You might need to abstain from...
Sometimes from the things you just love doing the most.
Not really love. The things that makes you... I would say... for example, you can't abstain from reading. You see? Reading or learning. You can't abstain from that, because reading actually is... It is like food. You have to always feed yourself. The things which may distract you, and there are many things. Social media, for example. This kind of fanatism of sports fanatism. Somebody can't afford to miss a match when his favorite team is playing.
Simba and Yanga.
Sijui Manchester and Liverpool and whatever. They can't. Like, it's an obsession. You know, as insignificant as they may look, but these things reduces your ability to stay on course. Because when you allow your heart or your soul to be so much distracted, or so much pulled out with things which are not actually on the cause, leading you to the cause,
Complacency is
guaranteed. I think maybe our listeners have heard or have read a book called The 5 a.m. Club. I think that's where I got the whole idea of fasting very differently.
Robin
Sharma. The book is written by Robin Sharma, The 5 a.m. Club. I've read that book like twice or thrice.
You recommended that book to me at some point.
Yes.
I went into the claims of it, but never dived into
I think
it. I remember the book.
So in this book, in summary, there are 3 characters. There's a rich guy, there's a lady, and there's an artist. And this rich guy, he's saying his way of fasting is this: once in a while in his life, he disguises himself like a poor person. He wears rags. He doesn't sleep on bed. He abstains from all those luxuries to just remind himself that of his mortality. That those things, actually, he found them here. You hear that kind of fasting. So I would say fasting is like putting a pause and reassessing your journey towards
I wonder how
success.
many of us do that.
So abstaining food becomes one of the areas which, or the things most people do, and it is important to abstain food from time to time. It's very important for your health.
For health, yes.
Because most of the disease actually are through food. We get most of the disease through food, and we can get healing by just abstaining food. When you go deeper into the idea of divine health, you can't avoid fasting, my brother. So we don't want to go to that, but the point is that as you pursue success, or you want to be successful, you have to pause from time to time.
Yeah.
In whichever form.
And engage in self-deprivation. And I think I like the narrative of self-deprivation.
Self-deprivation.
When you talk about fasting from that perspective, because I think the narrative discourse that the world has defined fasting is just food.
Like a punishment, actually. When people hear about fasting, they feel like it's a punishment. Why is something? For example, and I know this one will touch you, coffee lovers.
Let's hear what you're going to say about coffee. Because if I must abstain coffee.
No, I'm not saying you must not abstain. For example, if you are taking 3 cups a day of coffee, if you abstain 2, you are fasting.
Okay, at least
you're fasting.
Yeah.
You're fasting. Because you are telling your soul that I am in charge. You are telling your body, I'm in charge. I'm not driven by you. I will not take coffee today. I'll take only 1 cup. You skip 1 meal a day. Instead of taking 3 meals, you skip 1 meal. Is it breakfast or what? It's just you're pausing. Yeah? You know, even these phones...
And it's a deliberate intent.
Exactly. Even the advice on the smartphones, they say you should turn it off from time to time. Turn it off completely. That is an advice. It is as a part of the manual or instructions. Turn off the phone from time to time. Off. Like shut it down. But how many people shut their phones down? Because they think they are general managers of the universe. If they turn off their phones, the world will just spin out of the... Just switch off the phone for the entire day. No phone. Stay away from the phone. That's fasting. The last point is diligence. Diligence. There is I think it's in Ecclesiastes, which says, whatever your hand finds to do, do it diligently, or do it with all your might. This is a code. Actually, it's a spiritual code. You know, mediocrity is not spirituality. And in most religions, they associate mediocrity with being spiritual. That's why you're saying, okay, I don't know if you've heard it, but there is an accusation, I would say, an accusation of the spiritual people don't do things. Even at workplaces, they are busy praying, do this, like spiritual. But it is a command. It is a spiritual exercise. It is a spiritual practice to be diligent. You know, diligence means you focus, you do something like you will not do it any more time, in any other time. You don't leave a room for error. You make sure that everything is meticulously
done to the T.
Not allowing any mistakes. That's the meaning of diligence, and that is spirituality. You want to be successful? Be diligent.
And I can think of an example when we talk about diligence.
Yes.
There's one thing we don't do as a humanity,
Mm.
and I've taken time
Mm.
to self-reflect on
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
When I craft an email,
Mm.
I write the email
Mhm.
to completion,
Mhm.
and then I have a cup of coffee,
Exactly. Huh?
and then I come back,
And read it.
go through that email once again.
Mhm.
When I do that,
Mm.
I tap into a different world,
Mhm.
because when I was crafting the email,
Mm.
possibilities are that I have thrown in massive emotions in that email,
Exactly.
which is not the intent.
It's not. And that's not actually it's not going to help, it's going to provoke.
Absolutely.
Yes.
When you read that for the second time,
You said no.
you
Wait.
start getting the
Yeah.
atmosphere. Number
Yeah.
one, you start picking up some spelling errors.
Yeah.
And number two, then you pick up the atmosphere. That's not the message I want to say.
Yeah.
Is that diligence?
It's diligence. It's being meticulous. That word, being meticulous.
The point I wanted to say to mention to the listener is that from the WhatsApp message that we craft,
Brother, speaking of WhatsApp messages, nowadays you need a dictionary to read some of the message from the WhatsApp, because
so we need a WhatsApp dictionary.
WhatsApp dictionary. This is what's called Gen Z. If a Gen Z writes to you a message, you have to find a dictionary.
Yeah.
So, okay, diligence is lacking big time. It's lacking big time. And I'm not just saying for Gen Z. You wonder people in senior positions, even to the level of ministers, they are not diligent. They want cheap talk. That's why we have things which are not moving in our countries. Projects not being accomplished because there's no diligence. And these people, okay, they fool us by going to the media, say, I'm saying this, I'm instructing this and that. And when they go there, they are not diligent at all. Because diligence is not about going to the media and say, I want you to do that and do that. No, are you doing it off the cameras? Are you doing that off the cameras? Because if we were to be diligent, brother, our nations will not be as they are now. And we can attest to diligence by looking at the developed world. The developed world doesn't leave room for error. Doesn't. And you are not going to be entertained for any negligence. You say, Samahani, just cheap like that, Samahani. No, Samahani, come here. Pay for this. No, Samahani. You go to a restaurant, you stay there for 2 hours. Or for half an hour, nobody has listened to you. You order your food, they go and bring you something else. Then they say, Samahani, we didn't listen properly. So can we make you will wait for another half an hour. There's so much mediocrity, so much negligence. Success. We are talking of success.
Yes.
We are speaking of the spiritual code to success.
Yes.
One of it is diligence. And by diligence, we mean doing something as if you are not going to do it it's your last time of doing it. Like putting your all. How many people do that? The question they ask, most of the people say, how much are they paying me? By the way, they are paying me a meager pay. So the money somebody is receiving becomes a factor for them what they do. Have you ever thought it differently? If somebody gives you, let's say, I'm just giving an example, a 10,000 shillings pay. I say, do this job and I'll give you 10,000. And you apply your creativity, your what, and you apply everything and do that thing with a lot of diligence. And when this person comes and says, wow, that's where the word tip came from. The word tip means it is over and beyond the agreement.
Expectation.
You have done over and beyond what? But people have made it a mandatory in the hospitality. Tip has been made a mandatory in the hospitality industry. I came to South Africa at some point. I can't forget that experience. I can't forget that. I came to South Africa, to be precise, in Joburg. On our way back, I was with my wife. On our way back, we went to one of the restaurants. So, because we were traveling back, we had some South African rands, and we want to spend all of it there so that we don't come with it. So we went to this restaurant as we were waiting for our flight, and we ordered food, and we checked the menu correctly. We checked the menu very diligently, and it's made sure that our money matches what, and we spared some money for tip. So we didn't order the whole money. So the food was brought. I remember this guy was serving us was a male waiter. So we ordered the food. We ate. After finishing eating, so during paying, we paid and we added a tip. So when he received the payment, he asked us, "Was the food not good?" I said, "No, brother. The food was very nice. So why do you give me this small tip?" I was like, it is, what did he say? It's not even 10% of what you ordered. I said, is this a church now? We have to pay 10%. The meaning of tip is that you do something beyond my expectation. That's when I give a tip. A tip is not an obligation. If I come to you, you are selling food at $10. I eat my food and I'm not satisfied. You can't charge me less. That's right. I pay you $10. But if I'm so much soothed and I really feel like good, I say I'm adding $5 as a tip. Now, diligence will make you extraordinary in anything. Thank you for listening, and I believe you have learned quite a lot, as we have also learned from this conversation. My brother and I, we have been going through this subject called the role of spirituality in success, and we looked from different angles, and actually we come to conclude that success or spirituality is the fundamental thing when it comes to success. So thank you, my brother, for your time. And before I close, I think I should invite you to say something to our viewers.
Look, I think I received more than I expected.
I'm grateful.
I've learned more than I've given. It's not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
I'm imagining the listener at home, how much have they received if I have received so much.
Yeah.
But I also appreciate that this is just a piece.
Yes.
In the entire pie.
Yeah.
I think there's still a lot to dive into.
To dive into.
To get into the ABCs of if I wake up tomorrow, how do I implement the code? But I think one would like to say thank you very much for inviting me to this beautiful establishment, and
thank you.
Indeed, I think one needs to be open-minded.
Yeah.
And not be myopic and dogmatic, which is to say that which I know is all there is to know.
Yeah.
And I think this exercise has taught me that there's a lot to know
learn.
and to learn.
Yeah.
And learning by itself presupposes you just don't know.
Yeah. Thank you. So to remind you that our channel is the Chronicles of the Entrepreneur. In this channel, we are unveiling the behind the scene of a life of an entrepreneur. And we have been discussing quite a number of subjects and topics which we think are critical to you as an entrepreneur or to you as a person as you embark, as you live your life in this earth. So stay tuned. Remember, we are available on YouTube with the same name, The Chronicles of the Entrepreneur, on TikTok, The Chronicles of the Entrepreneur, and on Instagram, The Chronicles of the Entrepreneur. Till next time, stay tuned. Thank you.